So I figured I would start with something not all that typical with a starting out video, because everyone talks about like the general information and that witchcraft isn't inherently evil and stuff like that. So I figured I would start with where I started, and that is pendulum work. But when I started out learning divination, I started with pendulum. Now, when you're doing pendulum work, what you need to do is familiarize yourself with the pendulum you're working with. I made mine by hand, so I know it pretty well. But if you bought one, which is totally fine, then you need to carry it around with you for a bit. I'm gonna have to do part 2 for this, aren't I? This is why I'm doing YouTube, because you don't have 60 seconds. If you're starting out with a store-bought pendulum, which is what I have done up until when I made this, what you want to do is keep it on you for at least 3 days. Carry it in your pocket, put it in your bra if you wear one. Keep it on you and kind of meditate on its energy, which if you are just starting out sounds like woo-woo bullshit. But just like tarot cards will read differently from person to person and from deck to deck, pendulums do the same thing. Divination is very personalized, and it's best for you to know your tool very intimately for the best readings possible. I would carry mine in my car because I like to drive, and I'm gonna have to do a part 3. The best thing to do is probably just keep it in your pocket. That's what I did when I was in high school and still in the broom closet, and then I would just wait until I was alone to practice. The best way to practice is to just hold it and then wait for it to stop moving. And I'm trying to like brace my arm against myself so that my hand doesn't move. And go ahead and give me a yes answer. And then show me a no answer. So for me and my pendulum, this means yes and this means no. The best thing to do is to have your arm braced against something so that your hand doesn't move while you're trying to do the reading, and that just takes practice, and keeping your hand still takes practice, and your readings will become more accurate and much better the more practice you have, because it is a physical thing as well. For pendulums is to make sure that a spirit or an entity or a deity that you've been contacting or communicating with are who they say that they are, and that they're telling you the truth, checking to see if they're malicious or not, things like that. Because this is a tool and it can't really lie to you. The same way doing a tarot reading to check the validity of someone you've been communicating with, or to help you figure out a problem. It can't really lie to you. It can't lie to you the same way that an entity can. Because sometimes even when I communicate with my patron, I get paranoid and I worry that it's someone masquerading as him. And it's just a good tool to use to check and to bring you peace of mind and to bring you some clarity. Pendulums.